All right, so this is the seventh video of the Definitely series under behaviorals, and it's the seventh behavioral video. And essentially, the question that I believe that pretty much every bank asks in their coffee chats, in one way or the other, is what does an investment banking associate or what does an investment banking analyst do? If that's what you're recruiting for, right? So I'll start off with the associate side because that's the side that I'm more familiar with. And essentially, what they're just trying to judge is, do you know what you're getting yourself into? And do you know what the kind of the work generally looks like, right? They don't want someone that just studied the technicals and knows the technical side and then hops on the desk and has absolutely no clue what the job actually is or what the process is like at all, right? So the associate, I've always started off my explanations with kind of like they're the quarter back of the deal, right? So they're essentially responsible for kind of owning the execution. So owning kind of like the execution of the deal. So ensuring that all of the analysis and the materials, right? So all like the materials um, that are being delivered to clients are accurate, that they're high quality, right? High quality. So an investment banking associate is kind of the quarter back of the deal. They're responsible for owning the materials. They want to make sure that they are incredibly accurate and high quality. Now, analysts, on the other hand, they kind of build out a lot of those models and presentations, but especially if you're joining as an MBA associate, the expectation is that you're going to work side by side at the same level as those analysts to build out and kind of work through any of the presentations because the second year analysts are actually going to know quite a bit more than you do coming in as an MBA associate, especially during this summer, right? So in terms of like more on like a day to day, right? The analyst and you as an MBA associate, you might be kind of building through some financial model, right? Like a different financial model, updating different like numbers within financial models, building out like pitch decks, which are basically just PowerPoints, pitch decks, and then kind of taking notes in meetings, managing any kind of like diligence things, updating like the different like valuation, the analysis, essentially just preparing the client materials and supporting like the senior bankers, right? So essentially your job is just to kind of listen to what the senior bankers are saying and execute on that, right? So the analysts are a little bit they're a little bit more closely tied to doing a lot of the work, right? As a first year associate, you're going to be kind of in that same bucket, right? However, as you get more senior, then you kind of sit more on uh, looking over a lot of like the analyst materials and kind of checking it, right? So at the very start, you're very much in it with them, and then as you get a little bit more junior and you're a little bit more senior in your like second, third year as an associate at that point in time, then you're kind of transitioning more into that VP role where you're not really grinding and building out some of those financial models. You're kind of becoming a little bit more of an overseer, of a checker, right? So that's what an investment banking associate or an analyst does at a really high level. If you're able to kind of communicate that and just kind of communicate that you know that it's like a high pressure environment, that should be plenty to kind of answer this question. So with that being said, we'll hop into the next one.